Hey guys, so today, here's a little intro here. I'm gonna show you what I do, and I will show you a clip of my son just being, a 2-year-old and being his age. And then I'm gonna update you guys on my PCS journey. And I will also have a mini Q&A as well. And don't forget, this is going to be the major video where I will be asking you guys to have questions for me. If you have questions for anybody else out there that is experiencing PCS or has family member that is experiencing PCS, if you want to specify that, go ahead. If not, just say, this is for Natasha, or say this is for everyone. So that will include me, everybody else who has PCS, and everybody else who has a family who has PCS. We'll try to answer that question, I hope. But if it is just for me, just specify that, and I will try and answer everybody's question in one video. If not, I might have to do different parts. But I will be doing a mini Q&A, and I will try to answer that as much and as in-depth as I can, because I really don't like it when I watch Q&A videos and they're very quick about it. Like, I would prefer a lot more information than a little bit, but that's just my personality. So that's why I'm gonna do with my Q&A. Again, put it down below in the comment section, and I will gather everything and put it in one vlog for one Q&A. I hope you're going to enjoy my video today, and you're going to hit the like button, and of course the subscribe button and the bell so you're notified every single time I do upload a new video if you haven't yet. So keep on watching. Good morning, everyone. So let's just start my morning. For my macchiato. And my son is making a lot of noise. Say hello. Say good morning. So he just finished his breakfast, and I'm still gonna have my coffee and my breakfast. I haven't really done that yet, so. My coffee is finishing up, but I want a little bit more of the milk, but not too much, so. And this is not sponsored or anything. This is just a vlog, updated vlog. Get rid of the hod. Alrighty. Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a little update real quick. I wasn't able to do it yesterday, and I'm gonna smash it yesterday and today. So yesterday I really felt like a big failure in the morning. I snapped at my son, I raised my voice. It was very difficult for me. So, and also he's potty training, so that's also a big challenge as well. And he's 2 years old, so the temper tantrums are definitely active. So everything was just irritating me. And of course, with this age, their toys really are very, very loud. And I'm more sensitive to sound than light. I used to be very sensitive to both and more sensitive to light. And for whatever reason, now I'm more sensitive to sound. And he wanted to be a part of this. I didn't really ask him if he wanted to join. So the first half of the day yesterday was pretty bad for me. I just felt like a failure as a mother, failure as a person. And I had a little bit of time to just relax. He just, you know, I forgot what I even did, but I think I just sat down and did nothing. And then later, in the afternoon, we started to eat lunch and all the other stuff, and it wasn't as bad anymore. I think I rested for maybe like a half hour to an hour, and that really, really helped a lot. And at that time, it was just easier to do everything else the rest of the day. He doesn't go to bed till 7, so, you know, I'm still busy from noon to 7 o'clock. And he did take a nap in the afternoon. It was only for an hour, but it was okay, because it also made me to just have a break and relax and all that stuff. So that really did help. Anybody out there that's having like a really bad, let's just say you're having a really bad time at 8 a.m. Right now it's in the hour of 8 in the morning. Yes, honey. And just give yourself a break. I would say 20 to 30 minutes, if not to an hour, but usually 20 to 30 can work from what I've noticed. Everybody's different. I would say 30 minutes to an hour. If you only have 30 minutes to do it, then do it 30 minutes. If you can squeeze that in. For me, 15 minutes is not enough. 20 minutes is kind of okay depending on what's going on, but 30 really does kind of help. An hour is sublime. So I would recommend that. And today, actually, I just woke up and stop that, honey. I just woke up today, and it was way better today than yesterday when I woke up. Do you want to go down? Do you want to go down? Okay, then you need to not be fussy, because people get to see you being fussy. Okay, and so I wanted to do this because I also wanted to start more chatter, more conversation in regards to awareness to concussions and PCS, or post-concussion syndrome. So what I want to do is leave all your questions down below. I will do a different video in regards to answering all those questions. And I also want everybody else who is suffering from PCS or has a loved one suffering from PCS to answer the questions as well in the comment section. And the reason I want to do that is because, yes, a lot of people, you know, will have similar responses, similar experiences, similar answers, but we will also have something slightly different or very different. And I want all of those similarities and differences to be there, so that anybody else who has PCS or who has a family member who suffers from PCS can do the research, can sympathize better, or anybody out there that just know anybody, you know, an acquaintance or anything, and they can actually have a better understanding of what PCS is, and won't really have that same effect as normally. Like for me as myself, I'm a lot more standoffish now. I'm a lot more like, I keep my distance. I don't chit chat as much anymore. I'm not very friendly anymore. I'm not as outgoing as I used to be. And to me, a lot of people kind of see that in a negative way. A lot of people think like, oh, you're a snob, or you, like a lot of different negative things. Like to some point I was even called an elitist. So, you know, I want as much as possible to push awareness as much as possible, because I feel like when there's more awareness, there's a lot less pain and hurt and hurt feelings from people that really don't know. That's my son calling. So next time you see me updating this particular video, it'll be later today. Hey guys, so yeah, I changed my shirt. Something went on there. Actually, it was the B12 liquid that went. I'm gonna do a mini Q&A, but in this video, I want you guys to come up with questions for me. If it is just for me, for anything, or my life, especially in regards to concussions or anything for me. If it is for me, as well as anybody else out there that is battling PCS, You can either specify that, or I'm just gonna assume it's all just for me. But I would just like to encourage everybody to engage. So questions for me, questions for other PCS recovering people, as well as people that have been affected by PCS. Let's just say not them themselves, but let's just say their friend, their best friend, their neighbor, their sibling, their parent, their cousin. If they've just been touched through that, just specify that as well. If it's just for me, or me and everybody else. So I'm gonna, this is in no order at all. And I got these questions just, okay, I don't even know. Anyway, I'm just gonna go through, them, and then we'll just keep the questions going. And once I have enough questions, then I'm going to do a Q&A video for my PCS or concussion journey vlog. What's harder, reading a book or watching TV? So I do not have physical books anymore. The reason I stopped doing that was because before we bought a home and before I even met my husband, me and him did it as well, but I relocated so many times. And when you really, like when I started, I relocated, I used to be such a bookworm that I used to have like hundreds and hundreds of books. And then when I moved the first time, even, you know, my home, my family home, I donated my books to the library. And so I moved and I had like less than 10 books with me because I still wanted books. And people knew me as, you know, a reader. So my brother gave me a book, my aunt gave me a book, a friend of mine, an acquaintance of mine or a friend of mine or something like that. Like he said he had feelings for me and he said, just, you know, just read the book. You know, I want you to have a great life, you know, even if it's not with me, yada, yada. So I had that. I don't even know where those books are, to be honest, right now, because I moved so much. And what I realized, when you move, it costs so much money, just the packing itself and stuff like that. So anyway, going back to the question, I read my book on my tablet. Right now, I'm in between tablets, so I'm reading it on my phone. The reason for that is my iPad mini actually just died. I have been waiting for this moment to happen because I have, I really, really love my iPad mini, but I was getting really frustrated because a few years ago, something happened with like an iTunes update, and it really kind of damaged my machine, my actual computer. I have worked with it for, I would say, months, and there were times when I had the time, I would be for hours. Like, I would say the longest I was in one sitting was 6 hours with an Apple consultant, and we were just troubleshooting and doing this, and they were sending me files and software applications and a lot of different things. It never really worked. So I was really getting upset about that fact that their own update really ruined my relationship with an iPhone or an iPad, so I can't sync it at all. So it was really a battle. So I rediscovered Samsung. Samsung was really like my first phone ever, and I completely loved it. And you know what? Yes, I've had the iPhone, and for whatever reason, Samsung always is better in technology-wise. So right now I'm using my phone, and I just recently discovered this app that I can adjust the light, which light can also be really hard for you, for PCS people, because it triggers something in your head. For me, it can give me a headache and keep me awake really long. So what you need to do, Samsung really has like on a setting, like I have a Samsung phone now, and there's a setting in there that you can change to make sure there's like the blue light or something like that. When you turn the blue light on, it ensures that you're not going to be kept up the rest of the night. That's what it's supposed to do. So there were times it's not consistent and it's not on a daily basis. There are times in which it's easier to just watch the TV because it's further away than reading a book. But again, I'm not reading traditional books. I'm not reading hardcovers. I'm reading electronic books. So I feel like it's also kind of a battle there. But I do keep my my book setting always dark, especially when it's like 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 4 o'clock. It changes that automatically because I don't want like the glare on me. And when I was using the iPad, that was really bad. It was just like really hard because it was really bright. I did change the settings to do that, but if I did switch it to sepia or day, it was really kind of like woof in your face. Again, it differs from day to day. So for me, if the book is very intricate and it is set in like, let's say sci-fi or fantasy, and they use certain words that isn't really used on a daily basis, that's a little harder for me. Sometimes I have to read it multiple times, same paragraph, same lines over and over and over again until I have to like take a break, stop reading it, and just kind of let it sink in, because I still won't understand it. It's same with the TV. For me, if it's something really, things that I love so much, like sci-fi and fantasy and action also is kind of hard. And I think it's because it's so fast when I'm watching action shows or movies. So if you kind of notice this when you're watching TV and it's kind of hard for you, try switching to something like you're watching something simple, like a sitcom or something. Those are kind of easier, I think, because sitcoms are usually kind of like, I wouldn't really say like super simple in regards to the writing, but the situation isn't as intricate and as deep as, like, let's say compared to The Crown, compared to like The Witcher, compared to like Harry Potter or Game of Thrones. That's a little that's a little bit more for my brain to kind of process a lot. So if I do watch TV to just kind of have it there, I would pick something that is, for me, easier to digest, like The Office. And I think it's also because I have seen that show from season 1, episode 1 up to the end for several times. And I think it's easier because I have like a little bit of memory of it, and I know what's going to happen. I know what's going on, and so I don't really have to pay 100% attention. So I don't know if that's really going to answer that specifically, because it's not really like a very black and white kind of question. To me, also, is everything is easier for me in the middle of the day. In the beginning of the day, everything is harder for me to digest. It's hard for me to have a conversation at 8 o'clock in the morning, at 7 o'clock in the morning, at 9 o'clock in the morning. At around 10, 11, it's a little bit easier. My brain has kind of adapted a little bit. It's also harder for me at the end of the day when it's like 2, 3, 4 o'clock kind of range. And depending on the hours prior to that, if I'm able to have a good break, like at least an hour break for just me to just sit and not do anything, it's not so hard. But if I have been constantly moving and busy and just doing something, when I hit 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, I am depleted completely. So that also kind of does that. With the reading, I do most of that when I'm in bed and trying to just like, calm down and everything, make my brain really relax. Sometimes when I do watch TV and it's already at the end of the day, like around, for me, because I wake up at 7:30 in the morning and I take care of my son, and I'm taking care of him like nonstop. For me, 7:30 to 8, I'm really getting like tired, and I try to get everything done, but sometimes I could get it in a half an hour, sometimes an hour, and sometimes it could be a few hours. So when I lie down in bed, I'm still kind of like hyper from making sure the laundry is done, the dishwasher, the floor is clean, like I'm not, nothing is like the crock pot is unplugged, all the lights are off, like just checking everything in the house. And so, when I go to bed, shower and go to bed, I'm still kind of wired. So I read a book and just kind of relax. There are days, depending on how much I have spent on that particular day, that day I might be just like, I can't really absorb this particular page, this paragraph, even a line. And there are days that are kind of easier for me too, for the reading as well. I've kind of noticed also, like, when it comes to the reading, as I mentioned before, it depends on the subject matter. Like, there are just ones that are easier to read, like a YA or young adult book, or a new adult, or a college romance, or right now I'm actually reading right now something like fantasy fiction, obviously, young adult. And I feel like young adult is a lot easier for me to digest. I think because it's very after school specials, like it's kind of like that kind of take in it. There's not a lot of like adult content in a sense. And the fantasy that I'm getting at, it is a little bit action packed, but for whatever reason, it's an easier read. So that, like, for me, sometimes the TV is harder and sometimes the reading is harder. But again, what I'm saying is that it depends on the day. It depends on the subject matter. It depends on the content. So let's just say you're having a hard time with the TV. And if it is because it doesn't matter what you're watching, it could be the light or the sound. If you're trying to read the book, and let's just say it's on a tablet, and you're having a hard time as well, check the light settings. The font is also kind of, it's not white on my end, so the background is usually like a black, and then the font is usually kind of like a lighter gray, so that it's not so hard on my eyes. And sometimes if you just do something like that like, it might seem simple to a lot of people, but for people like us, it might have taken you months to realize that that's what it is, or you didn't even realize it, and maybe if you realized it, you just forgot what you were supposed to do because you had to go to settings and things like that. So just be aware that's what I do. So, and sometimes if none of that really works, and let's say, because it's automatic on my settings that it goes to dark right away, so do that too. Like, it automatically goes on a specific hour of the day, and I do that. So what happens for that is that when I open it, it doesn't automatically, it's not like day or sepia or anything. And during the day too, if you, I would also suggest change the background and the contrast of the letters, font and color with the background. I would suggest don't make it into white because that is really kind of glaring. So kind of mute it down. Go to like a coffee latte kind of color, or mocha, or a cream or sepia color, and then kind of use like maybe a dark brown with a font. So the contrast can also make it kind of hurt my head. So maybe that's also an option for you and a reaction for you too. So try that out and see if changing that just helps you out. And again, for the TV, if none of that really works, like changing it into something simple, then I would suggest even just get like Prime, like Amazon Prime or Netflix or Hulu, because without the commercials, I feel like when you watch like network TV, because of the commercials always want to pump you up, and I feel like when I do watch that, it is kind of hurting my head. It is making me irritable, making me really annoyed, and then it becomes anger at a certain point because it's only they show a specific part, like about 5 minutes, right? 5-6 minutes, and then it becomes commercial, and then it's kind of hard for your head. You have to think like you're trying to focus on one kind of story, and then they bombard you with something that has nothing to do with the show or the movie. So your brain is trying to adapt, and because it's jumping ship, it is kind of harder for you to adapt really quickly. And to me, what I've noticed is that it does hurt when I do that. So just be aware of that. I know that's a lot of that, but that's why this is more of a mini Q&A in regards to that. And I'm starting to get a headache right here, so I'm gonna stop it here. And I don't really know. I think I'm just gonna end it now. If I do decide, I will, like, I'll have another clip in regards to updating the rest of the day. So before that, I would just like to say thank you for the support. I did just start a GoFundMe because I want to get better. I was just talking about it with other people, and I just had to pay a bill, and my bill was, after insurance, was between $100 to $200, like closer to $200. And that's just one bill, and I'm expecting a bill coming up soon due to my test, and I have several tests coming up. A few of them has already has an appointment, but the rest I'm on a waiting list, and I still have to make an appointment for the other ones. So there's going to be tests, and then I have to go to the doctor, which I have a copay, and I have to go to therapy, and the therapy it's really expensive. So I started GoFundMe, and it's in the description section. Just feel free to share. I feel like mental health is very, very important. And I want to share awareness, as well as I want to share my journey, and I want to reach out to as many people as I can and help them out on what I'm trying to battle, and what I've actually tried to note down, so that I could share it with anybody battling with PCS or affected with PCS, in regards to family member, acquaintances, and stuff like that. Today I had a lot of help because my mother-in-law was here for several hours, and she helped me a lot with my son, so that kind of helped out a lot. And so it's essentially kind of like a mini break for me, because I didn't get to deal with my son 100%, and she visited him, and so they hung out a lot, and she interacted with him more, so I had a lot of break for that. So that was really great. So as much as you can, try to accept breaks, even if it's a half hour to an hour in a day. That will really change your life. So try and do that as much as you can. Also, I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you share awareness, you spread awareness in regards to PCS. I hope you enjoyed my video. You're gonna hit a like button, and if you haven't yet, the subscribe button and the bell, so you're notified every single time I do upload a new video. As I mentioned before, I will try and update this as often as I can. I don't think I am mentally able to do this every day, because it's pretty extreme for me. But I will do as much as possible, and every time I do have, let's say, therapy, doctor's appointment, another test, I will try to put all of that in a vlog that day, and hopefully I can post it as soon as possible. It's just sometimes I get so drained that it sits there for overnight or a day or two, but I will post it as soon as I can. Thank you everybody for all the beautiful words, the support, the encouragement. I think we should just help each other and encourage each other, because I know the struggle. My struggle is every minute. It's not like every month or anything, it's every minute of every day. So thank you guys so much. And I just want to be better. And I know everybody out there just with PCS or being affected with PCS, if you have a family member that's battling with this, I know you want them to be better too, and I know you want them to be who they really are, not who they are currently battling to not be anymore. So again, please leave your questions, because I will get all the questions from all of my PCS vlogs. And if I have enough, I will do a Q&A vlog for that, or video. And hopefully it can answer a ton of questions with PCS. So make sure you look it down below. If there's anything, if you have any questions, comments, advice, anything you want to share, your story, someone you know, so it's also your story, please put it down below. I love hearing from you guys all the time. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys